Hi, I'm Jeremy Counseller, Dean of Baylor Law School. Welcome to another edition of Counselor's Corner, and today my guest is Hope Arredondo. Hope, welcome, and how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Okay. So my understanding from my extensive research in preparation for this interview is that you have wanted to be a lawyer for a long time. Can you tell me when you knew that you wanted to be a lawyer?
Yes, so I know lots of people have this exact same story, so it's not very unique, but I think I remember being around 10, and my mom said, if you're going to argue so much, you might as well be a lawyer. And at that point, I was good at reading, writing. I think government was a big thing for me because that's how, historical figures, George Washington, presidents, very impressive people that make the world that we live in. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to law school. I'll do that. And so that's what I kind of focused my life on. And it's going to be a little scary, graduating and being like, well, what now? But yeah, it's been my path, and I'm glad that I've stayed on it.
So did you come to law school straight from undergraduate?
So I did 1 year at the Travis County Attorney's Office, and to anyone that's listening, they've heard me say that phrase many times because that's where I really found where am I going in law, specifically in prosecution. I would love to start at Travis County so I don't really make any big mistakes, and then the Travis County DA's office would be my next step.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a similar experience with my own parents when I was about 8, 9, 10, maybe even younger, that they would say, you can be a lawyer one day, but right now you just shush it. We're tired of arguing with you. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if so far in law school, because you're a first-year law student, mm-hmm. if there's been less arguing than you anticipated.
I know that some professors, they do go out of their way to say, okay, Ms. Arredondo, you're going to be the defendant's counsel, and then Mr. Russo, you're going to be the plaintiff. What are you going to argue? It's not really a, Your Honor. Well, Meyer does say that, Your Honor. But it's more of a, what topic are you going to go for? Like, what defense are you going to use? We know it's going to be mitigation. But it's not really a stand up and tell the class. It's more of a, use this topic and apply it, and I think I do prefer that because seeing what the practice court students are doing, you definitely need more of more experience, practical before going into it.
Yeah. It's also, when I went through law school, it's a lot more technical than what I anticipated it would be. It's not all, I'm passionate, that there's a place for that, for sure. There's a place for passion and sincerity. But there's also a lot of study and a lot of getting into the details of the case law and the statutes and the rules, and a lot of it's very almost mathematical. So you tell us where you went to undergraduate and what you studied in.
Yeah, so I went to Texas A&M, had a great time. I know that we hear a lot of, was that a cult? Yes, it is. It's a wonderful cult. I'd go back a million times. And I did the pre-law track. I had already known that I wanted to go into law school. And I really liked it. I think that a lot of pre-law degrees at other schools, they try to teach you a little bit of contract, a little bit of property. And one of my mentors actually headed the program, and he was like, we don't want you to know anything law-based. They're going to teach you that in law school. We're going to teach you philosophy. We're going to teach you logic. We're going to teach you, get another degree. Go do business, statistics, find what you want to do. And then so when you're ready to apply, you can say, these are the ABA statistics that we know that law schools are looking for, and we know that we taught you how to do that. And I wrote about it in my personal statement. It was a really, really great experience.
So you mentioned the desire to become a prosecutor, and that's obviously public service. Yes. What is it that draws you to serve public service, but I guess more specifically to be a prosecutor? Yeah,
so I'd known from the beginning if I was going to be a lawyer, it wasn't going to be, and not to judge people that make lots and lots of money, but it wasn't going to be using my skills that I'd acquired, the blessings that I'd been given from my parents, to make rich people richer. I really wanted to give back to the community, specifically in government. And I remember I was in an internship during my undergrad years at Travis County. I got to go back to work, and I was in Court 9, and I just saw a lot of people that knew they had made a mistake. And specifically Travis County is a lot about rehab, a lot of pretrial diversion stuff, a lot of getting you back on track, like knowing this is affecting your life. You drove drunk. We caught you, and we don't want you to do this again, but we're not going to stop you from being a member of society. And so I really wanted that, like to be like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man kind of lawyer, because that's the important stuff. And
Spider-Man seems to have inspired a lot of people in their legal careers.
I think you just talked to Austin about that, actually.
I did. I'm a little bit concerned about the influence Spider-Man has over Baylor Law students, but there are worse superheroes and supervillains to pick from, I suppose. Okay, so do you think you'll be a prosecutor forever, or is it a means to some other, a step to something else?
No, so the mentor that I had from Travis County, she'd been a prosecutor for 35 years at Travis County. She loved it. She's amazing. Professor Alpert, who is the crim law advisor, he was a prosecutor in Tarrant County for, I think, 34 years. He loved that. He was an incredible prosecutor. I knew that I wanted to go into public service, specifically public representation, maybe House of Reps, maybe the Senate, specifically in Texas, because, again, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man kind of vibe. Because there aren't a lot of people like me that are talking about people like me in our government, and I would love to do that. I would love to have constituents and represent them and, give back to the community that I'm in. And then eventually in undergrad, I had an amazing mentor who was a lawyer, and he told me, do not go to law school. And now I understand why he said that. But he was in insurance for a while, and then he became a professor. And he loved it, and he inspired me. So I at first thought that, okay, I want to go back to undergrad, maybe make a few kids go to law school, to be tormented as I am. And now I'm thinking, Baylor, as you could possibly speak to, Baylor's probably a pretty good place to teach. I don't know if they'd take me. But, I think ending it as a professor would be incredible to give back.
There are opportunities to teach at law schools, full-time obviously, but also part-time, that you keep your career going and you come in and you teach a course, once a year, twice a year. There's lots of opportunities for that. And I do think that that's one way that lawyers give back to the profession, is to train the next generation. It could be mentorship in a firm or an agency. It can be more formally in a law school. But I think that's a good aspiration. I certainly have enjoyed the teaching that I do and feel like it's a way to make a difference. So I guess the question I want to ask you is, why Baylor Law School, and more specifically, what part of Baylor most resonated with you? Because the students who get into Baylor, they have options. I mean, they have other choices. So I'm curious what resonated with you about Baylor Law School.
Well, I will be maybe a little more transparent. There are lots of incredible students here that could have been to, different schools. This school was my dream school. I was at the bottom of the bubble, and I remember talking a lot to admissions about how this is where I really wanted to go. My dad went to Baylor for a little bit for his undergrad degree. He loved it. But I think that it really resonated with me, and that I was looking at, observing lots of trials at Travis County, both during my internship and then while I was working there for a year, knowing how to do a trial as a prosecutor. Surprise, surprise. That's a good skill. Go to trial all the time. Came and did a tour here, and they told me that a Baylor lawyer could do better. And they told me how the practical style of the teaching, albeit torturous, would prepare me for exactly the thing that I wanted to do. And I know some people come because they want to know how to litigate, but then they're going to go into transactional. I can say that what I'll be learning in practice court, hopefully from you again, and then in civil procedure, I'll be actually using it. And that was very exciting for me, to see a school that was going to be maybe less theoretical and conceptual and more get on the stand and tell me your argument. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, further to your desire to become a prosecutor, you are currently you're in the leadership of our criminal law society. You're the treasurer, I believe.
I am.
Talk about that organization and the things that it does.
I would love to. So, first of all, Professor Alpert is heaven on earth, basically. The friendliest guy, great fashion sense. If you go to his office, he always has the best chocolate. And that's a very superficial way to describe him. But there is genuine support for criminal law students here that you don't normally see from the outside. I know Baylor is very civil, and some people, they want to start prosecution to get that trial experience and then move on to maybe more civil things. But they're the best students, I would say. Daniel Whittington, Grace Neal, people that knock it out. They're on the dean's list every semester they've been here. They're on law review. They're in multiple executive, organization boards. They're in crim law, and they're on the board. And they're incredible. They're great writers. They're great speakers. They're great people. I know we do the crim law boot camp. I know we have that criminal capstone that Professor Albert teaches. We have connections with Beth Tobin, who is incredible. She's our other advisor. As you said, someone who stays in the workforce but then comes back and obviously gives back in her voir dire camp. I think that it's the perfect practical training. And it is I'm so appreciative because I know that students just a generation away. They didn't have that. And so learning that it exists and knowing that that's what I wanted to do, it was just so encouraging to see out of the sea of civil here that there was a place for criminal, for sure.
We've added a lot of, and thanks to Richard Albert and Beth Tobin and others, added a lot of criminal law specific training, just as we've added a lot of business and transactional specific training. But I think those programs that you mentioned are fantastic. Okay, now we've come to the lightning round.
Okay.
The questions are silly. Your answers have to be short.
Okay.
Would you rather explore space or the deep sea?
Space.
Why?
The deep sea sounds horrible.
Okay. What's your favorite board game or card game?
No, that's actually retarded. Secret Hitler off the top of my head.
I like that game too. If you want to find out who's a good liar, play Secret Hitler with them.
Oh, all you have to do is start screaming fascist, fascist, and you don't have to be good at lying at all.
That's exactly. And sometimes, and I know this is the lightning round, but I'm going to take a little point of privilege. Sometimes I'm stunned how good. I'm stunned by the people who are excellent liars. You know what I found out? Playing Secret Hitler? My son's wife is an incredible liar. And I'm going to try not to be concerned about that. If you could only eat one cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my God, I can't answer that.
You have to. It's a lightning round.
I know. If I don't say Mexican, it's not Mexican. It's not.
Does it feel treasonous not to say Mexican because we're in Texas?
No, I'm Hispanic. No, it's Mexican. Mexican's comfort food. I'm going to say Mexican.
Yeah. See, I said Italian, and I felt guilty for not picking Mexican.
Really?
I did.
Are you Mexican?
No.
I didn't think so.
But, I mean, I've grown up around Tex-Mex food. My favorite restaurants, my favorite meals are Mexican. But if I could only eat one thing,
exactly.
I think it would be better for my health, I think, if I ate Italian.
No. And you could say, sorry to the lightning round, I apologize.
No, you go.
Mexican food is not Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is wonderful, but Mexican does not have queso. It doesn't.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So,
you're right
it's
about
either
that.
or. I apologize. I'm going to say Tex-Mex.
No, that was a correct clarification because there's 1,000 miles of difference between Mexican food and Tex-Mex.
Yes, exactly.
Fair point. That needed to be pointed out despite the lightning round. Okay. What's your favorite emoji to use, if any?
I have one. It's the cowboy hat smiley face.
Well, that's the same as somebody else's. Okay. What's your dream road trip destination?
Oh my gosh, all of the natural, like the national parks, like in the western area, so like Nevada and California and, well, maybe like west to like Midwest.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. What's a movie you can watch over and over again?
Rango. Have you seen Rango?
Is that the cartoon?
The Johnny Depp lizard one.
Okay.
It is so introspective.
I got to tell you, I'm not going to watch that movie.
That's okay.
Okay. If you could be on any game show, which one would it be?
Oh, I don't watch a lot of game shows. Not Jeopardy, because I would embarrass myself.
Okay. We'll just eliminate one.
Yeah.
What's your favorite spot to study? Could be the library, or could be a coffee shop, or somewhere else.
That's a solid split, and I will say I'll bring up Austin Alameda one more time. I'm a library girl, absolutely, but we went to Dichotomy recently, and it is perfect. It is the perfect spot.
There are a lot of coffee shops in Waco. There's
Absolutely.
tons of coffee shops in Waco, and Dichotomy's a good one. That's kind of a fancy spot. You can feel very sophisticated.
It's
studying
third
there.
wave, apparently. That's the label.
What does that mean?
I have no clue.
Third Wave. It's a Third Wave coffee shop?
It's a Third Wave coffee shop.
Okay.
It's also a bar. They serve alcohol the whole day. Not that I know.
This is Baylor, so we'll have to edit that out. Okay, I understand you have a question or two for me.
Yes.
Okay, go.
I will just ask you one because I think you'll be so interested. So I know that you're.
You really shouldn't build things up so
much.
much.
It'll be fine. It's about you. So.
Well.
Very interested. So I remember not coming for the first time, but stalking all my professors. And obviously you're the dean, you're the first one on the staff list. I have to go to you first, right? So you had all your career experience and you started as a DA or an assistant DA.
No. I started as a clerk to a judge.
Okay.
Then I went to
my
civil
apologies.
practice.
Okay.
No, it's okay. You don't have to know my bio.
I thought I did. Okay, I thought I saw district attorney on there, and
I did for a very short period of time. Yeah.
Okay. So there's that. I know you were a clerk, and you're judicial clerk. Excuse me. And then you were in energy, and I'm not sure if it was energy plus corporate or energy then corporate.
Just litigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now you're in education. Obviously, you've been in it for
a
little
20
while.
years. Yeah.
So from all of the, albeit incorrect, descriptions I've given of
you got it basically right.
of your career, which would be, and it's a cop out if you say education because you've been doing it for the longest, which one would be your favorite and why?
Education.
No.
No,
okay.
I'll answer your question. I'll put this as, but I love what I do. I will say and I'll pick among the other things I've done as
Thank
well,
you.
to not to cop out in your words, but
Yes.
But I love doing what I do. I love the fact for me, the transition into the deanship has been fantastic, largely because of the people I get to work with. I mean, they do things that make me look good, and I didn't have anything to do with it. And so I will get credit for it, and I didn't have anything to do with it. And I try to always remember to give them credit, but you benefit from the wonderful people you work with and their hard work. But the teaching part, because I've only been the dean for a year, but the teaching part is something I've done for over 20 years. And the thing I can say about teaching is I have never once thought about a problem that I have while I'm teaching. For me, it is one of those rare moments where I am absolutely present. Nothing is distracting me. So it's a kind of a form of meditation, a form of prayer almost. Now, when I walk out of the classroom, my problem is waiting for me. Whatever the challenges of that day, whatever I'm concerned about. So teaching is something that's really, really special, and those are my favorite things. Now, among the others, I will have to say I like them all. And again, I'm not going to cop out. I liked all of them. There were positives of each one, and each one of those things. So whether I was, my 6-month stint as an assistant district attorney, or working at the law firm at the time was called Bracewell and Patterson, now Bracewell, or being a judicial clerk, all of them had some things I'd say, this is of these jobs, this one is best for this reason. But if I had to choose, I would say being a judicial clerk was fantastic. I mean, the one is it's not a long commitment. I mean, I was a year stint. That's all. There are either 1 year or 2 years, and now most all of them are just 1 year. Because you get to see behind the scenes a little bit. You get to see how a judge thinks about cases, and it's not exactly the way you think about it when you're coming in from law school. And I think law students, when they're new lawyers, they tend to have and I certainly did, to be a little mechanical in our legal analysis. And I think judges often are more elegant in their legal analysis. And just to get to learn from my judge, to learn from my co-clerks, all of that was really, really positive. But I've been very blessed throughout my career. But in all the jobs, there are always hard days, and there are always stresses. And I think one thing that I have learned to do, and the only way you learn to do this is to go through challenges, is that sometimes, I think oftentimes, the stress, the anxiety you feel on the front end of a challenge, on the back end, it's why you feel good about it when it's over.
Absolutely.
Those things are connected to one another. But it's hard to see until you've gone through those kind of professional challenges a number of times. And it's not like I can't tell you that I hit a new challenge and I'm like, oh, I won't have any anxiety about this, but I have less than I would had I not gone through other challenges as well. But overall, I am so happy with the course that I'm on, and it's been being a lawyer. I always tell people there are easier ways to get rich than being a lawyer. I tell students this. Being a lawyer is a rich and rewarding life, but it's not an easy life. It's a challenge, and I think one thing that I think we do well at Baylor Law School is we're upfront about that, and it also focuses us on what we need to do while students are here is to prepare them for the challenges we know are coming. We know they are coming, and I don't think we would be doing we wouldn't be doing right by our students if we didn't prepare them for those things as best we could, right? As best we could. Hope, been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.